Alrighty, what is quacking, everybody? It is time. Persona 3. Oh my god. Persona 3, I've been sitting on it for a while. I thought for a moment to finish episode Aegis, but I'm gonna split up episode Aegis into a different video, and I'm just gonna focus on Persona 3, the main game. And Persona 3 Reload is amazing. I know there's debates for what the best Persona game is. In my opinion, Persona 3 is the best Persona game out of the big three. And when I made my Persona 5 review, I thought they were close. But I did my New Game Plus run of Persona 3, and it just hits everything just a little bit more than 5. And I think Persona 3 Reload just hits more than 5 in a lot of areas. It is just a phenomenal game. It has a phenomenal cast. The music's great. It has the best story out of all the Persona games. I know it's up for debate too, people. This game has the best story. It's got a lot of hard-hitting tones. It's got a lot going for it with the darker themes and the progression of the game. I didn't feel like the game was holding my hand. I felt like my entire goal and mission was very clear and straightforward the whole time. Unlike things like Persona 5, where I felt like we didn't really have a clear goal on what we were going to do until towards the end of the game. And Persona 4 kind of had that weird switch up at the end, but like we knew what we were doing in Persona 4, but like it wasn't hard hitting. It wasn't, banging as hard as Persona 3 Reload was. But oh my god, does this game just absolutely hit so hard. I'm going to be talking about Persona 3 Reload, everything. I'm going to say Persona 3, but I'm going to be coming off the perspective of Persona 3 Reload. I did play Persona 3 Portable as well. It's still, very fun, similar story beats and stuff like that. Reload is just the better enhanced version, and it is absolute peak Persona 3. If you don't want anything spoiled and you're looking for validation, play the game. Play the game. Play the game. It is well worth your time. It is worth every single hour. Play that game. So, starting off with, the obvious gameplay elements. The turn-based, very smooth, very solid. They didn't add any of the extra elements that were in Persona 5 that they added in the nuclear element. I forgot what other ones. The psychic, I believe, the psi element or whatever. So it's just your generic earth, wind, fire, ice, light, dark. And then they had 3 different types of physical. You had your strike, slash, and pierce. And I believe in 5 you only had slash and pierce. They didn't have strike, I think, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played 5. It was a couple months, but whatever. But yeah, the damage things, it works very well. It's very intuitive with, finding out the weaknesses. You're just rewarded for the weaknesses. The gameplay's very smooth. The turn-based combat's very smooth. Using your buffs, debuffs, just everything about the combat in that form of RPG style is just phenomenal. Silky smooth. No complaints with the combat whatsoever. Having the switch mechanic as well is very nice and just absolutely amazing. Obviously, in this game, it didn't come with the social link quality of life buffs. When you finish a social link in Persona 5, you got extra buffs for certain things. Didn't get that in this game, which is fine. The only thing that I wish we did get in this game is the one where I think it was the twins. If you finish that line, you get to summon personas at a cheap, like you can summon personas or fuse personas above your level, and that you spend some money and you can have the persona above your level. That is what I wish came to this game. That is my only gripe with Persona 3 Reload, is that is the one quality of life we did not get in this game. And it kind of sucks because for the most part, unless you're dedicated to grinding on your first playthrough, you're not getting all the personas. I am only missing one persona from my compendium, and that is the persona that you get for maxing out every single social link. Otherwise, I have every persona, not including the one maxing out all social links. And it took me 2 playthroughs to get through because I had to run through, level up again, and, use all the extra boss fights and stuff like that, refight all the old boss fights and stuff like that. So that is like kind of the only really gripes I have with the game. Outside of this game is absolutely perfect and amazing in every single way. The social links. Oh my god, the social links. We didn't have the female version, which I guess is another gripe you can say I have with the game, but that's neither here nor there. It's something they could have added. They didn't. But the FemCs has different social links that we did not get in this game. And also the FemCs has social links with Akihiko. Like, you get it all with the male actors. Shinji, Akihiko, Ken, Junpei. In this game, they did supplement that by not having FemCs in here. So instead of having social links, you have these linked episodes with Akihiko, Junpei, Koromaru, Shinji, and Ken. And to be honest, those felt more impactful than the FemCs, in my opinion. Like, you didn't have all like the tacky romance or whatever, but the linked episodes come at certain pivotal points in the game, and you get to like really feel how Junpei, Akihiko, and like all the other characters feel about what's going on in the game as you progress through the year that you're playing the game, which is very nice. It's very different from regular social links for sure. It kind of does take away from the female social links when you're talking to Fuka, Yukari, and all those people. That's a takeaway that I can say about it, is like, they have just the regular social links, so no matter what you're doing the entire time through the playthrough, like, it's still the same. But like when you talk to Akihiko and everyone else, all the male cast members with the linked episodes, you kind of feel the story more. So I wish there would have been more of that with the female cast members, but it is what it is. It's still like a great addition to the game to supplement the fact that there is no FemCs in the game. But regular social links, absolutely amazing. I love all of these social links. Some of them are hella cringy, I will say that. Like Kenji, that dude in love with the teacher, that's kind of crazy. It was funny, it was comical. She's like, is this dude serious? Like the whole time I'm like, bro, stop, it's not it, stop, please. And I was just laughing, and it was like, I felt embarrassment. Like, all of these social links made me feel something compared to social links from 4 and 5, where some of them were impactful in certain ways, but otherwise, some of them I just came off very neutral, or just like, oh, that was pretty good, that was insightful to the character. That was like most of like Persona 4's social links, where I'm just like, oh, that's cool, like more insight to the character, I guess, or like some characters were just whatever. But like in 5, there were some characters I was like, oh, this character's great, and then other characters were just kind of like, okay, I guess. Like Ryuji's line was pretty good, gives you some insight, and I was like, okay, Ryuji's had a pretty good one. But like when you're talking to other people in Persona 3, like everyone just has a lot going for them. I would say probably the most bland social link is Fushimi. Her social link is kind of just her getting over being awkward around boys and stuff like that. So like that's not really anything too crazy for the most part. It doesn't really, you know, give off anything wild. It's just like, oh, help her, you know, get over whatever. But otherwise, besides that, all the social link, like talking to the Gourmet King, doing that social link, like dude's in a cult trying to indoctrinate people and stealing people's money, and it's just a mess. Like it's like a weird social link, and it's just like, bro, is this guy and he always has to shit. He's always shitting himself. He's just a disgusting person, and I think that's like, it's not people's favorite social links, but I think what makes that social link stand out to me is like, I feel something. I feel disgust, and I'm just like, who is this dude? Who, like, why am I wasting my time with this man? Like, who is this dude? So like, it's stuff like that where like, I feel like I always had a good like type of reaction. There was always something for me to react to with each social link. Like, and especially at the end, when you max out people's social links and getting those different endings too, that was, oh my, Bebe's social link, that hit me. Like reading his paper and going through Bebe's social link, dealing with the death of his aunt, having, you know, to deal with trying to stay in Japan and study, that made me feel something. And when he gives you that farewell letter at the end, when you get that letter, oh my God, that hit me in the feels. That is by far one of my favorite social links, and that is my favorite ending to the social link. I think overall my favorite social link in the game is Mitsuru. I like how she's battling with, you know, trying to like be more open and kind of inclusive with the group and be like a normal person and branch out from her ways and stuff like that. And then she still has to deal with her dad's company after he passed, and, you know, dealing with this arranged marriage to try and save her company. And then you give her that backbone. I really like that social link with all it develops. I do feel like I romanced her, and like doing her regular stuff as well, her non-romance and regular ending, they were all right. Like the romance one had a little bit more impact because she's like, yeah, you're gonna be part of the family, and like I could kind of feel that pressure. I'm just like, oh man, I gotta live up to, you know, the Kirijo group line. I'm dating the daughter, like that kind of hit in a certain way. But for the most part, like my favorite ending to the social links was Bebe's. That hit hard. A very close second. I don't know why these letter ones were like really hitting hard, but a very close second was the rival athlete, Hayase. That one just amazing. Just hit, having his social link, seeing what he's dealing with. Like I said, every single one of these social links just hit so hard. Kamiki, the sick guy, dealing with him and, you know, his struggles of being sick. Tanaka was also an okay one. He was all right, and like trying to deal with him, trying to like grip with, you know, being a normal person instead of being a douche all the time. That was pretty cool, I guess. But like, you know, you have Mutatsu struggling with alcoholism and, you know, being the parental husband and dad that he couldn't be to his son and wife, and then, you know, he goes back to them. You help him go back to them. So it's kind of like all these different social links really hit hard. Kaz with his knee, trying to be there for, I think, like his nephew or cousin, where he doesn't want to show weakness and he wants to like really, you know, encourage his cousin to go through with like rehab as well, because his cousin was like injured or something as well. So all these different social links just really hit. Like, I cannot express enough how, like, honestly, like outside of the main story, the social links were always what I looked forward to the most. Whenever I had to go save someone from Tartarus at night, or whenever I had to go do certain things, it was all right, you know, it was whatever. But like, I look forward to the social links and then doing the story. Those are my two biggest things. The monotonous stuff in the middle, I just went hard on those just so I could, you know, get through it, just so I could do the social links. And another fun aspect, like this isn't a social link as well, but taking Elizabeth out and all the different things, that was very fun as well too. Like seeing her interact with the real world and, you know, how she viewed things through that lens. Very fun, very cool. And also her secret boss fight at the end when you have to solo her, that was rough. I went in there and I had the nuke one that does 9999 damage or whatever, but leaves you at 1 HP, 1 SP. I was like, I'm a nuker. It's whatever. You use that on her, she only takes like half health. She doesn't die. She's like, oh, that's cute. And then she kills you. So her boss fight definitely is just absolutely amazing. It is nothing like dealing with the Grim Reaper or anything. Like, that boss fight was such a welcome to the game. It was just an amazing boss fight. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, social links, Elizabeth, the linked episodes, all those were just a very solid emotional aspect to everything. Now the story. Oh my god, the story is so fucking good. Oh my god. It starts off a little slow, don't get me wrong. You start off, you know, you start off in the midst of the dark hour, though. You're like, what are all these coffins? What's all this? Like, you're just dealing with all the dark hour and stuff like that. And then you meet Pharos and you're kind of confused. You're like, what is happening right now? You're just kind of going through things. And then the dark hour ends and you meet Mitsuru and Yukari. And, you know, you just go through the motions until, you know, you start off with, you know, you gotta go save Yukari, and then you summon your persona. That cutscene, oh my god, when you summon Orpheus and he turns into Thanatos, that cutscene hits so good. And then just the very beginning of the game is just you rallying everybody behind you. You know, Junpei, he wants to, you know, be the hero. He wants to go through. He's like, yeah, Junpei finally found his purpose, and as you progress through the game, that's what you get to see with Junpei and his growth as a character. And, you know, he finally feels something like that's what he wanted out of his life. And you see him struggle with the fact that you guys are trying to end the Dark Hour. And Junpei, just as a character as a whole, is just a very, you know, he's the goofy character, but he also has his moments of being human, and you see that in the game. And then Yukari as well, where she just wants to know what happened with her dad, and she's there to, you know, find answers to her dad, and you're dealing with that. And then she gets her answers, and then she finally, you know, gets what she needs to keep fighting and avenge her dad, and, you know, finish what her dad was trying to do and stopping the Dark Hour. And then, you know, Fuuka's kind of there. I'm gonna be honest, Fuuka is another bland character. I appreciate what they did with her. She's just very timid as well, and she's like, she really tries. Like, you can see that kind of, you know, she embraces the I'm the background character, and it doesn't hit as hard as the other aspects, but you can just see her trying. Like, I think that's the part that, like, makes it really human and you empathize with Fuuka, is she's just trying. And she's doing her best, and she wants to do her best. And, you know, sometimes when she messes up or feels like she can't, you know, detect things, like when she didn't detect, what's her face? The Chidori. She didn't detect Chidori at the thing. Like, you can kind of like see that in her. She's like, oh my God, I didn't, you know, detect that. And then Chidori takes over her and speaks through her, and dealing with that. So, like, the main cast, Mitsuru trying to, you know, do right and fix the Kirijo group's, you know, issues and stuff like that. Akihiko just trying to, you know, really hone his power and just kind of end the Dark Hour, and just, you know, he's more of a humble hero in that aspect. But as you're going through the story, you get to see everybody's growths and, you know, how they view things, and everyone feels so unique. Compared to other games where I feel like kind of like Yosuke and Chie were a little bit similar in Persona 4, and then in Persona 5, like, some characters is kind of, you know, they all have like their unique quirks in Persona 5, but like at the end of the day, they kind of like all still like kind of conversed into like the same funnel with everything. But like in Persona 3, it doesn't matter what part of the game you're at, they all have their different feelings and, you know, how they're acting in certain scenarios, and just dealing and going through all of that thing. It feels very unique and nice. But as you progress through the game, Akihiko gets better, he comes into your ranks, and then Fuuka comes into your ranks as well, and you're just dealing with, you know, fighting these different arcana of the persona, and you're not really too sure of what's going to happen for the most part until, you know, you kind of stumble upon some things where it's just like, oh, you kill all of the, you know, arcana, and that's going to stop the Dark Hour. And it's just like, oh, okay. And then, you know, you have your little beach vacation. That's fun. And that's where you meet Aigis. Aigis, the best toaster. Oh my God. When I first played the game, I wasn't, you know, really sold on Aigis for the most part, but like, Aigis really grew on me as a character. You see her, and she's a robot, obviously, but then she gains humanity, and seeing her awaken into her humanity and doing her social link where, you know, she falls in love with you, and you know, you can romance her if you want or whatever, and you help walk her through her humanity, and seeing with, you know, how she knows that she's a robot and she would like to be human, and like seeing all of those different things and her becoming human is just so good. I really enjoyed Aigis as a character, like, as you go through the thing, and her dedication to you as well, and just how she stands by you, just really good. And then the two biggest hitters, you know, dealing with Shinji and Ken, and then Ken realizing that Shinji couldn't control his persona, and that's why Ken's mom dies. And one of the best things in this game, this scene just, it's one of the scenes that really kicks into high gear, is Shinji and Ken meet up during the Dark Hour, and, you know, Ken's like, I'm gonna kill you, Shinji, and he's like, do it then, do it. Like, you know, Shinji's gonna die, he's been taking the suppressants that's decrease his life, he's sick, he's gonna die. And then Gun Jesus. Gun Jesus shows up to Kaya and he's like, I'm gonna kill both of you instead. And he kills Shinji and shoots him. And then Shinji saves Ken from getting shot and gets shot again. And then Shinji dies in Akihiko's arms. And it's just, God, that scene just hits so hard. Just seeing everybody around Shinji, seeing Akihiko breaking down and like as you play through the game, Akihiko still just reflects on Shinji. He's like, I wonder what Shinji would think about this. Like, you like hear him, like, it really affected Akihiko. Like, that moment in the game was so strong. And then also, just like in general, Strega and their goals, they just want to be powerful in the Dark Hour. They don't want to give up their power. And I think like while they're evil, they make some good points, I guess, but they're still a little bit weird. But, you know, they're test agents, and you get to read the lore as well. They were being tested on by the Kirijo group and forced to give them personas, and they have to take their suppressants, otherwise they're going to die. And you see that with Chidori as her persona tries to kill her, and Shinji helps by giving her the suppressants. But you have Takaya, who's just so strong, he doesn't need an invoker to summon his persona. And like, that's insane. He's just like, no persona, no gun. And he doesn't pull out his invoker until you fight him at the end of the game. But you just kind of see Takaya keep trying to extend an olive branch. He's like, don't end the Dark Hour, don't end the Dark Hour. And one of the other greatest things in the game is when you learn you shouldn't have ended the Dark Hour, because that's when Aigis, you know, gets a little brainwashed by the chairman. And he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm like insane and I want the Dark Hour. I want Nyx to come down. So Akutsuki, like, this was just another turning point. Akutsuki just ties everyone up to crosses. You're all being fucking crucified. And then he's going to sacrifice everyone to bring Nyx down. He does eventually get his goal because he dies along with Mitsuru's father. But like, that's when Aigis gets her humanity, when he's telling Aigis to kill everybody, but she just can't, and then Koromaru stops her, and Akutsuki's just like, yeah, I got you guys to all kill all 12 Arcana, and I'm insane. Like, that was just another just climactic moment of just, whoa, we're all gonna get shot, this guy's crazy, we just got duped. Like, it's crazy. And then seeing how the group has to handle with no Akutsuki, no Mitsuru's father. So the two big people who are helping him aren't there. They got to figure it out. You know, they go on the school trip, and that's when you can do your social link with Mitsuru after the trip. Yukari smacks her, talks some sense into her. But like, it's just a constant struggle. Every time you're on, you know, the front foot in the game, the story just takes you in a part where you're on the back foot. Shinji dies. You have to deal with Strega trying to stop you. Akutsuki was actually evil the whole time. And you just have all these things just taking you back non-stop. You're like, oh my god. And the fact that they're not afraid to kill people in this game, I think that's what made this game just so deep. And to be fair, it does suck because, you know, Shinji's your party member, but you don't have him for that long. You only have him for a couple months. So it does kind of suck. And what does suck as well, if you've been sitting through this the whole time and maybe you have a New Game Plus run in mind or whatever, get Shinji's ultimate weapon. If he dies, you cannot craft it. You can only craft his ultimate weapon when he is alive, which is annoying because I got enough to craft his ultimate weapon and then I couldn't after he died. So that was kind of annoying. You can only craft it when he's alive, as far as I'm aware, unless I'm stupid, but that's what I noticed. I went to go craft it. It wasn't there. So that's kind of an annoying thing. But you don't have Shinji your entire party, which is, you know, part of the story. So it's cool in that aspect where they take your party member from you. Because in the other Persona games, like in Persona 4 and Persona 5, if you haven't played Persona 3 and, you know, you go through Persona 4 and Persona 5 first, you're like, oh, I finally got all my party members. Nope, he's dead. He gets shot twice. He's dead. So that was just big story leap moments of just how dark and gritty it is, and like you constantly have to deal with everybody's emotions and how they're trying to deal with things and their struggles because they're all still teenagers in high school. That's the thing too, they're getting hit with this hard. It's not just like, you know, in Persona 5 they're just like, oh, you know, we just need to not get caught or whatever, and then Persona 4 is just like, oh, well, just don't tell Dojima and we'll be fine, we can solve this ourselves. In this game it's just like they have to deal with the worst of the worst. They have to deal with the world ending. And then that's when, you know, they think everything's fine. They stopped all 12 Arcana. And then that's when your boy steps in. He's like, you know, oh, you know, actually, I'm here to kill everybody. Ryoji just comes up and he's like, yeah, so about that, whole me dying thing, like, yeah, no, Nyx is coming. And you have to, you befriend him, which is insane. Like, that is one of the things, too, where, like, you befriend the person you have to fight. And those moments are always so rough in games because it's just like, oh, yeah, I have to now fight someone that I had a relationship with. Like going through the linked episodes of Ryoji and seeing, his impact. You go to the school trip with him and you have your little laugh. Oh, we accidentally ended up in the girls' bath. We gotta, do whatever. Like you have all of these friendly moments with Ryoji, and then he finally kicks into gear when he fights Aigis and he realizes who he is and he remembers, and Aigis makes him remember, and it's like, oh, well, I'm gonna have to kill you all, and you have to wrestle with that. And then you can either kill him and get the bad ending and the world descends, or you can fight him and get the good ending. And when you make your way all the way to the top, you have to wait for January 31st, but as you're going to the top, you become the Nyx assault unit or whatever it is, the Nyx annihilation unit or whatever it's called, and you go through that. You see everyone's aspects because you're told you cannot kill this boss. Nyx will not die. That is the most insane thing ever. You're being told you can't kill this, and now I know as gamers we're all like, oh, we're told we can't kill this boss or whatever. So you see everybody wrestling with this, like, we gotta try, like, we came this far, we gotta try to kill Nyx, like, we gotta do this. So as you're going through, you see everybody's attitudes. They just want to get stronger. You're going through the final, I think it's like 20 30 floors or whatever, and before you reach the door and you have to wait for it to open. But it's just like seeing everybody's attitudes and them trying to go through it and just trying to keep a positive face. And especially like before that, when Junpei freaks out at you and he's like, yelling, and everybody's freaking out because they just got told they're gonna die. And like that shit like hits. He's like, oh, we're gonna die. We gotta figure this out. And then like in the face of adversity, you go for the good ending. They're like, hey, we're gonna die, but we're gonna try and save the world in the process. And then you get to the Nyx fight. But before that, you gotta fight Gun Jesus and what's his face? Jin. You gotta fight them. They try to stop you, but Jin blows himself. Like, that was insane. Jin blowing himself up to not get killed by the shadows was absolutely insane. Like, committing suicide that way. Oh my god. Like, again, just like towards the end of the game too, just everything is just hitting. And then Chidori dying as well when, and her persona fuses with Junpei. And I don't know if you can do it in regular Persona 3 or Persona 3 Portable, but in Reload, you can save Chidori if you buy a flower, give it to Junpei, tell him to give it to Chidori after you do the linked episode where he's like, oh, I want to buy a flower. You give it to him, and instead of her dying, she'll end up in a coma because Mitsuru gets a call, and then you go see her January 21st or whatever. But, Chidori dies and gives her life to Junpei. And like that hits Junpei in the feels because he's trying to fix the girl. He's trying to fix her. He's like, I can fix her. No, you can't. You see a girl wearing all white with red hair like that. You can't fix her. I'm sorry. All of my homies who are out there like you can't fix her. I'm sorry, bro. You can't fix her. But that moment right there, amazing. Chidori dying, and then Jin killing himself to not die to the shadow. He's like, I'm gonna go out on my own terms, and he's just like so into worshiping Takaya. He's like, you got this, Takaya. I believe in you. And he fucking blows himself up. Like, that's insane. Like, the most insane things happen in this game, and that's what takes it a step above the other Persona games. The other two big three Persona games is the fact that people are outright here left and right just dying, and death is a main part of the thing. You cannot escape death. And then you defeat Takaya, and then you go up and fight Nyx in all of Nyx's forms, and you're just sitting there wailing on Nyx, going through different things, and Nyx gives you the speeches of Itarkana and the different things about it, and telling you can't stop what's going to happen. And then also on top of that, like, Nyx reminisces a little bit with you, or, well, it's not Nyx, it's, the whatever of Nyx, the avatar of Nyx or whatever, which is still Ryoji, and you reminisce, like, all right, this is your last chance, like, you can't stop me, blah, 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 all that stuff. And you're just like, we're gonna stop you. And it's just like, that's where you gotta fight. You gotta fight your friend that you had all these different things with. And then you fight and you fight and you go through all those health bars. You just keep nuking and buffing and nuking and buffing. And then when you finally go through all 13 Arcana health bars, Nyx is not dead. And that moment in the game is like, damn, you really can't kill Nyx. This is it. This is the end of the world. You cannot kill Nyx. He sits there and fights with you the whole time. And it's just like, well, you guys tried. And then starts to pull the moon down towards the earth to kill everybody. And you're like, that's insane. But the one thing that does stop it is you're the wild card. You get up, or you pass out first. You talk to Igor. You take the elevator all the way up. And it opens up. And that's where you go. You go up to the moon. And, you know, you get the card that Igor thought he'd never see. And I don't think we know what it is or whatever. I think we can see a glimpse of it. I don't know. I think it is like the wild card or whatever it had on it. But you go up there and you fight Nyx. And then you get power from everybody, all your friends and stuff like that. You know, Spirit Bomb Super Saiyan style. And you get all this power. And then you seal Nyx with inside you. And you save everybody. And then everybody forgets. The dark hour's gone. You go back to classes. You know, you're chatting up with Junpei, Yukari at the dorm. And it's this weird feeling when everybody's, you know, forgotten and you're just going through things. It's that weird feeling of people who are just like, oh yeah. Like, you know, what, like, did we really have a friendship? Like, not noticing who's in the dorm. Like, when Aigis is watching you guys from afar and she runs away and you're just like, oh, she lives in our dorm. Like, haven't you seen her around? And Junpei's like, no, I haven't seen her around. That's weird, whatever. But you go through all those different things. And finally, when you and Aigis remember at the end of the game, you run up to, you know, you go to the top and you're laying your head in Aigis's lap and she's taking care of you, smiling at you. And everyone remembers. Mitsuru stops her speech and everyone starts running up. And they go, we remember. We gotta go be with our friend. And y'all start running up. And they run up to the end. And while they're all running, Aigis is like, you know, oh, it's okay. You can go to sleep. And you can try and keep your eyes open. There's options. Keep your eyes open. Close them. You can try. But your eyes are going to close. And your eyes close as everyone runs up there and you're laying in Aigis' lap and you see everybody up there and you die. That shit hit so hard because you die right before everybody shows up to the roof. As everyone's there, you're dead. And that's insane. That part got, just even talking about it, I got a little bit. That ending is so fucking good. Persona 3, the entire story from start to finish is so good. And you just die at the end because you sacrificed yourself to save everybody else. And that's kind of the whole theme of the game. Death is inevitable. Like, on a real note, we're all gonna die. And that's what happens. You die. You did what you could to give everybody else a little bit more time to live, but you couldn't escape death in the end. You fought it off for as long as you could, but in the end, you died. And it was all to save your friends and give them more time on the earth. And that's what the whole game's about. Death is inevitable. And my God, if that isn't the most realist human story ever, and that story just hits from front to back, social links and all. And that's why Persona 3 is better than Persona 5 in many different ways, and definitely better than Persona 4. It is just a phenomenal story. So that was the story. It was great. Music wise, get to music at the end, you know, I hit you with the whole story. Music wise, it's really good. I feel like 5 still hits some of the music in different ways for certain parts, but the dorm music, the walking around the town music, all that different music is so good. I streamed these games to my girlfriend, and I streamed all the Personas. So I played through all 3, 4, and 5. And when I did my Persona 3 New Game Plus, because I wanted to really refresh myself before making this video, she was like, oh, how I missed this music. And that right there just tells you how good the Persona 3 music is. Yes, I still listen to Persona 5 music. I also listen to Persona 3 music. But Persona 3 music just hits so good. I will say the only thing that 5 has in the music department that really puts it above 3 is when you're traveling around Mementos. I like the Mementos music more than the Tartarus music, because Tartarus music is kind of bland ambiance music, but everything else, the dorm, traveling around, talking to people, the battle music, oh my god, the new song they added, It's Going Down. Oh my god, that was so good. And the intro song as well. They redid the intro. Oh my god, the intro song is so good. Like, and the intro animation too. Oh my god, it's so good. It like give Jujutsu Kaisen intro openings, if that, you know, helps kind of gauge how the intro is, but the music just slaps and aids in every way in this game. But I think that's going to be me with Persona 3 Reload. This game, phenomenal. I am so glad a couple years ago I saw my friend streaming Persona 3 and I was like, I'm gonna pick this game up, and it was on sale. And I'm so glad I picked up that game, and I'm so glad I went through and played Reload as well, because I played Portable before Reload came out and played through most of Portable. I got to like November, or not November, I think I got to September, October, and I'm so glad I picked up the Persona series. If it wasn't for me picking up Persona 3, I would never played 4 or 5, and it's just, God, it's just so good. Persona 3 is just absolutely an amazing game. If you've recently played through and you just want to sit here and listen to me glaze it, go do your New Game Plus run. Go do that. It is so worth it. It is so good. Persona 3 is definitely like, it's a 10 out of 10 game. Like nothing like, you know, other Persona games don't really stand up to it. I would definitely love to see a remake of Persona 2 and 1 at some point. They would definitely have to rewrite some of them, because I've started playing Persona 2. That was, you know, there's some things that need to be ironed out. But Persona 3 Reload, amazing game. If you sat through this entire video, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I will do episode Aigis in the future. I'm halfway through the game right now. I did want to do Aigis with this, but I'm going to do it separate. I just want to talk about Persona 3 because it's just amazing. And without episode Aigis, it is just amazing. But that's it for me. I've been yapping on long enough. My throat kind of hurts. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace.